Tweety Bird.
Yes.
Tweet.
Yeah. Twitter.
But Twitter's all about sentiment.
Yes.
What are people talking about? Like what's the buzz?
What did Justin Bieber say?
Yeah, or like all the stock market guys. Did somebody tweet about something? Or like Elon Musk with Dogecoin?
Yes.
Like, come on.
What's funny is I had some of that just for fun, and it shot up yesterday.
Yeah, it did
because he talked about it.
Unbelievable.
So I looked on there and I was like, I made a couple $100. How did I do that? No, because it's Sunday and the market's closed.
Yeah, and
I was like, oh, my Dogecoin.
Oh, my Dogecoin went up, and all the guys are like, to the moon. It's like, no, it's not hitting 20K like you think it is.
Because that's just a fun.
Yeah, that's all it was. It's a deviation. It's like here's Bitcoin.
Right.
Bitcoin uses a SHA-256 encryption, same standard encryption that the U.S. military uses. Blah blah blah. It takes a certain amount of machine processing power to clear a block. It takes about 10 minutes. With Dogecoin, it uses this thing called scrypt. It's a different sort of encrypting algorithm, and so the processing time for the work takes about 2.5 minutes.
Oh wow!
If I know correctly, I may be wrong. Somebody may correct me on that. And I know Litecoin, which is also another spin-off of Bitcoin, also has that probably a 2.5 minute block clearing time using the scrypt.
Right. Yeah.
I'm totally off track.
No, I love it. Yeah.
Oh, the Dogecoin, because we were talking about
the
sentiment.
Dogecoin, yeah, because I actually own some.
Yeah,
that's the funny part.
Yeah, it's all about the
Doge. It shot up. I don't know. I just looked yesterday, and then I happened to go on Twitter, and I saw Elon Musk joking around about it.
It's all about the Shiba Inus.
Yeah, because it's like 22. Yeah, it is. Yeah, those are amazing dogs.
Oh man,
they're always very calm and collective, and like kind of like guard. They're like a guard dog
until they snap.
Yeah,
like
you. Yeah,
calm and collected until he snaps.
There's a great movie out right now. I saw a trailer of it. It's called Nobody.
Nobody?
Yeah, it's an action movie, and it's a guy that used to be like an operative and a super badass, and then he had a family, and then he's like chill, and then somebody comes in and robs his house.
Oh, then that's it. That's the switch.
But then he like tries to play like I'm not. He doesn't want to create any type of motion. You know what I mean? Everything has to be I'm a family man.
Yeah.
Well, then everybody starts teasing him. His neighbors start saying, well, why didn't you, if it would have been me, I would have hit him. And,
yeah, I bet you would have.
And then, so then finally he's like, screw this. And then he just goes on a tangent.
Oh, that sounds
And then
people
people come out of the woodwork from his past because they know he's alive.
Oh, yeah.
Dead,
they're like, we know this calling card.
Yeah, we need to get this guy out.
Yeah.
So it's a pretty cool clip. Enough waste of time. Here we go. Let's talk about, speaking of Twitter.
Yeah.
Big data trends, artificial intelligence leads Twitter mentions in November 2020.
Ooh.
The mentions. So hashtag AI, hashtag IoT, hashtag machine learning.
This is great. So, how all the people in their descriptions on Twitter say, my opinion is my own. Obviously, it's your damn account, whatever you say, you're doing it. No one else is typing it for you. So what I think is funny about it is that like all these larger companies, where things are slow moving, very corporate, a lot of suits. When you use a word like that, that's like a buzzword.
Yes, they're buzzwords. Yeah.
The big boss wants to hear, well, what are we doing with AI? Everybody else is using it,
Right, yeah.
And so all these people with all their positions and their, they have their bios listed on Twitter. They're all going to talk about it,
right?
Because they want to look like they're the forward-looking person in their healthcare market.
They're the futurist,
right? They're the futurist of whatever corporate company they're in.
Right.
That moves like a sloth, and truly doesn't get anything done. But it sounds like the company's doing a lot.
Right.
So there's a lot of buzz around Twitter with artificial intelligence. People are like, oh, that also, we can get more funding for our projects.
Yes.
And if we do this, we're a forward moving company. And so when you start to look at that analysis, that's why so many people are talking about it. But, AI and machine learning, because of everything that's available with, online cloud computing, it's becoming commoditized. There's tons of algorithms that are, pre-written. You can just kind of pump numbers in and then it gives you spits out an output.
Right.
Well,
I've seen it with, speaking of these sloth companies that just have, tons of R&D money.
Yeah.
They're just throwing, and then hoping something comes back. But the scary part about it is, and I think people need to understand this, you may go talk to a firm and give them permission to have your data.
Yeah.
And then you get a report back, and then you're going to base your marketing or whatever it may be your supply chain. You're going to base that all off of that report.
Yeah.
That you have no substance of how did they come up with that?
Wait a minute. So all the guy got was someone told him we had an AI system.
Yes.
Come on here. Analyze all these numbers we bought from a marketing firm. And it told us this is what we need to do. We don't have to hire the marketing firm anymore.
Yes, exactly.
We got all our answers right here for a quarter of the cost. And then the big boss is like, that's fantastic.
We used AI.
Yeah. Well, actually, that's a bad idea. Who's the guy who wrote the algorithm on the AI?
Right.
Is this the angle we should be actually taking?
Maybe this worked for Nabisco, but it's not working for.
Yeah, this is the cookie algorithm. Yes. Okay. Over here. And we can't apply that to what we're doing over here. You know, everybody is very specific. So you got to make sure that the data that's going in,
right,
especially if you want to be trendy with your company,
yes,
you got to make sure you have quality data going into those data sets, especially data that makes sense.
Yeah, and I love it when you go on and you go on Twitter and everybody's using the hashtag AI or but it gives stats. It says there was 3,745 mentions, and this is just in November. Machine learning was 3,355. Mm-hmm. So people are going into that ML a little bit more. IoT 1,780. So we're getting into that, and I know IoT security has become a big concern and issue. Number 4, analytics 1,293.
Well, that should actually be number 1.
Yes.
You know, they only push that down the list because people are like, we've had big data for a while. It's not cool anymore. You know, we got to have a robot, some cerebral digital brain figuring it out for us, You
have all the answers inside your company.
All the answers are right there. People are always clawing for things on the outside, right?
Yes.
And if you don't have it, if you need an answer, go to your clientele or the people that support your company and get the data from them.
Your customer that purchases from you is the deep learning.
They are the deep learning. Why are you spending money on a computer to give you an answer? Like you're trying to guess?
Right.
Your little hunch?
Yes.
No more hunches, okay?
Yeah.
Perfect information. That information comes from people. Go get it from them.
And if you want to trend a hashtag, trend TARTLE, TARTLE.
Yeah, TARTLE. You want to know why? Because it's reasonable.
And
it's a reasonable use of R&D spend.
So what would be the difference between a company coming in, giving their data to an organization, that organization using an AI or machine learning or deep learning, whatever you want to call it, and then getting this report back? How is the difference between TARTLE and a firm like that?
Well, a lot of those people they're using de-identified data.
Right.
They're using information where you can't really figure out, like, this is the primary sole source.
Right.
And so when you come to TARTLE, you can buy identifiable data. You know exactly where it's coming from, when it's coming from it, and why it's coming from there. So when we have a full picture over here in TARTLE, that's the information you want to put into your machine learning algorithms, okay? Or your deep learning sets, okay? Those are the things that you want to use to help drive your decisions for your company, especially if your company is like a service or like a public product.
Right.
For other companies, if you're a gas pipeline company, obviously, if you put machine learning, on your pipe sensors for your IoT, that's going to help. There's a very small human element involved.
Right.
But if you have a high human element involved in your company, you need to go get that data from those people because they're the supporters that allow your business to survive.
Yeah, it'd be as simple as asking a question to a pipeline company. You could say, do you mind drones flying around, to check your meters instead
to
of
survey
somebody
the
get
meters,
out?
right?
Yeah,
or here's a better one. If somebody's planning on screwing up the Alaskan wilderness in a preserved area, why don't you ask everybody in the United States if they're okay with that?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. And then ask the Inuit people up there too if they're okay with it. And if they're not, don't do it. You shouldn't be allowed to do it. The thing is, there's such a lack of information that moves from like a political realm,
right,
to the public. They're supposed to be in service of the public, but there's like a big separation of it.
Yeah.
And we all know that. It's obvious, right?
But don't you think that polling in a safe manner that cannot be, hacked is decentralization at its best and democracy at its best?
It's decentralization, democracy at its highest. And that's a perfect example. And again, that is possible with TARTLE, right? So if I want to get data, polling data, on all these people on a certain thing that might deal with a pipeline going through Alaska, let's ask the United States about it.
Yes.
People's land.
See what they have to say.
Talk about that. That's a trending Twitter thing right there. Let me give you my sentiment on that.
We're done. We're out. Twitter.
See you, Twitter. Bye.